How's it going, guys? Peep's Section 8 housing here. And the dispute between Palworld and Pokemon took a bit of a huge turn a couple days ago. After absolute radio silence from Pokemon after they said they want to take legal action against Palworld, they finally did it. They're suing Palworld. But at the same time, this is probably one of the stupidest lawsuits I've ever witnessed in my life. But before we get into that, make sure you like and subscribe, because if I get 149k subs, then I'll show you my genuine reaction to root beer. Very delicious treat. Yeah, 149k subs. I got y'all. Anyways, let's back away from that. Because the only thing I'm rooting for is Palworld winning this lawsuit, because they 100% are. You see, Nintendo is probably one of the gaming industry's most biggest crybabies. They have a tendency to sue over basically everything. Like, they're basically tied with Disney at this point, with who can sue for the littlest things. Like, never forget when Disney sued a family because they put Spider-Man on their dead son's grave. As mentioned before, this isn't Nintendo's first rodeo, right? I think the most confusing part about this lawsuit is that it sort of feels like they're suing for all the wrong reasons, right? Because obviously Palworld, it's not necessarily a parody, right? It's more than a parody, but it's basically like its own universe, right? It started off with inspiration from Pokemon, but at the same time, it's like its own thing, right? They're taking a completely different direction from Pokemon. And you know, you could make the argument that a lot of things are definitely inspired by Pokemon, right? Like, there's definitely a couple of characters like that. They're not actually suing for that. I think the most enraging thing about this lawsuit is that Nintendo is making up patents on the spot, right? Here, look at this. Okay, so these patents were made June of 2022. So these were just completely improvised patents that I'm about to show you. In a first mode, an aiming direction in a virtual space is determined based on a second operation input, and a player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction an item that affects a character disposed on the field in the virtual space. Based on a third operation input, in a second mode, the aiming direction is determined based on the second operation input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction the fighting character that fights based on the third operation input. So you can't throw things in video games anymore. That is literally what's going on. This is one of the most vaguest patents in gaming history, and it really just proves that Nintendo is just making shit up on the spot. Like, take this into consideration. Grenades, right? What is that? You're throwing an item at a character in a virtual space. That's literally it. What, am I not allowed to throw Chug Splash at my duo anymore? Come on, Pokemon, Jesus. I don't think Nintendo's winning this lawsuit whatsoever. This is one of the worst patents ever made. Let's just talk about these drawings real quick. What am I looking at? This is actual images made by Nintendo in order to sue Palworld. You're not allowed to do this in video games anymore. You guys hear that? If I see you throwing anything at a dinosaur, you're done. You're literally getting sued. It sounds like I'm joking, but Nintendo's being 100% serious at this. You can't throw things at dinosaurs anymore. That is wild. There's a lot of drawings like this that are just like what is going on? I'm a big fan of this one. It just says nice, and that's it. Nice. And I'm gonna insist on this. All these patents were made up in late May, early June, literally a few months after the release of Palworld. These were just completely improvised. These were made for the sole purpose of suing, and it's like the funniest thing possible. And it's all over a game that really isn't competition to Nintendo whatsoever. Let's actually look at the Steam charts real quick for Palworld. Yeah, it looks like since its release in January, it's just been sort of tanking. Like, no one's really playing this at all anymore. Actually, that's a lie. That is an insanely high 24-hour peak. But at the end of the day, people are playing this for Palworld. No one's really playing this for Pokemon, from what I could tell. There's definitely inspiration drawn from Pokemon, but at the end of the day, it's like its own, like, thing, right? Like, does that mean every platformer ever made has been inspired by Mario? Do platformers need to be sued because they resemble Mario a little too much? Because that's sort of Pokemon's logic right now, I'm not gonna lie. I realistically do not see Pokemon winning this lawsuit whatsoever. The Pokemon Company was quick to address the controversy at the time, saying, "We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon." A couple weeks later, Nintendo president added the company would take appropriate action against those that infringe our intellectual property rights. What intellectual property rights? There's literally no copyright in this game whatsoever. You guys are literally just making shit up. This law lawsuit is so confusing. I'm gonna use that Mario analogy again. Should we start suing platformers because they resemble Mario a little too much? Personally, I see it. Super Meat Boy, literally a Mario ripoff. That's just me. Fireboy and Water Girl, yeah, literal ripoffs of Mario. I think we should sue those guys as well. Nintendo seems to be insisting that they're suing over patents and not actual copyright, which is, like I said, probably one of the most confusing things about this lawsuit, because this is just advanced bullshittery. For those that aren't aware, patents are basically protecting inventions, right? They're not suing like a character. They're suing over like mechanics or gameplay features that are a little too similar, while copyright is just like, oh no, this character looks too much like Meowth, right? This character looks a little too much like Mewtwo. The Japanese application specifically refers to Pokemon Legends Arceus, which allows people to throw Pokeballs in the overworld rather than limit catching to wild battles. It also includes what looks to be a version of the game's Pokédex pages, which tracks information like how many times players have encountered the Pokemon in question or has seen it use a specific move. Palworld does contain catching mechanics similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, so this may be one of the patents included in the lawsuit. It's okay to be inspired, right? I think this is what like is so annoying about Nintendo. It's okay to show some inspiration, right? Yeah, like Marvel and DC rip each other off all the time, but you don't see them suing each other over it. Unless they do. If there's something I'm missing, let me know in the comment section below. But from what I could tell, I don't think DC has ever really sued over, you know, Black Cat from Spider-Man. You've never seen Thor sue over Thor. Yeah, fun fact, Thor is also a DC character, but they're also both characters from mythology, so, you know, you get what I'm trying to say. Palworld responded 2 days ago regarding the lawsuit. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. Yeah, Nintendo's not winning that whatsoever. We have received a notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. You know what this reminds me of? You know how like the US government is like making rules strictly just to make TikTok illegal? That's sort of what this reminds me of, except, you know, I'm totally down with TikTok just becoming illegal in the United States. That's just my personal opinion. Pocketpair is a small indie company based in Tokyo. Our goal is, as a company, has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game, and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thanks for your continued support of Palworld and Pocketpair. Yeah, the entire comment section is just defending Palworld. Nobody's siding with Pokemon or Nintendo whatsoever, because they don't infringe any patent when they launched Palworld. Oh god. What is this? I'm kind of scared to open this. Oh, yeah, this entire situation's quite silly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go now, so yeah. Stay skibbity. Boom!